Okay, so today we're talking about 2.2, which is variables on both sides. So this is 2.2, variables on both sides. So our steps to solve. Step 1 is always to distribute if necessary. Step 2, combine like terms, or I sometimes refer to this as simplify each side, because you are only staying on the same side of the equal sign. You don't move from one side to the other at this point. 3, now we move variables to one side. It doesn't matter which side, you just choose which side to go to. Step 4, solve, and then step 5 would be to check. Here we go. Now we work some examples. Number 1. Okay, I'm looking. There's no parentheses, so I don't have to distribute. I look at each side of my equation. This side, there's nothing to simplify. There's no combining like terms. There's no combining like terms on this side. So I've already gone through step 1 and step 2. Now I'm at step 3. So I'm going to decide, it doesn't matter. I like to try and keep my variables on the left or positive. It really doesn't matter. It's your choice. I will work both ways. Not for this one, but eventually in our work. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 3 because I'm wanting to move this variable to the other side. Remember, I want to do whatever it takes to make this equal 0. So if this is a positive 3y, I need to subtract 3y from both sides. When I do that, this cancels out, and I'm left with 2y, bring this down, minus 8 equals a positive 12. Now, I've got a two-step equation. We've seen tons of these. So now I continue to solve my equation. It's subtracting 8, so I need to add 8 to make that equal 0. I have to add to both sides, bring this down, and we end up with 2y equals 20. I'm doing 2 times y, so I have to undo that by doing division. So I divide by 2 to both sides, and we end up with y equals 10. If you so choose, you would now take your answer and you would plug it in to both sides. And that check would look like 5 times 10 minus 8 equals 3 times 10 plus 12. And I simplify each side. So I've got 50 minus 8 equals 30 plus 12. 50 minus 8, that's going to give me 42 equals 30 plus 12, 42. This is true, so therefore this is my correct answer. All right, moving right along, let's look at our next example, which is going to be number 4. Okay, for this one, this is one where we're going to move the variable to the left, okay, because I want to keep my variable positive. So I'm going to be moving this variable over here. So I'm going to, since it's a negative 2u, I'm going to add 2u to both sides. This zeroes out, bring this down, and we have 12 equals 11u plus 45. You don't have to work it this way. You can always move it to the left. You will just end up with negative variables. It is entirely your choice how you would like to work the problem. Both will get you to the correct answer. All right, and now we continue to solve. This is a plus 45, so I'm going to subtract 45 from both sides. This zeroes out, bring this down, so I have 11u equals, now I'm doing 12 minus 45, or 12 plus a negative 45, however you want to think about it. and that gives me a negative 33. And now I divide by 11 to both sides, and I get negative 3 equals u. And here we go, flipping the page over, and I'm moving on to number 7. Now we're getting into doing the distributive property when we're looking at these problems, because I've got the 3 on the outside of the parentheses. So I'm going to take this 3 and multiply it to everything. So I'm doing 3 times 6p, that gives me 18p. 3 times negative 1, so that's going to give me a negative 3, equals 11p minus 45. And now it's the same thing as what we've been doing. I'm going to move this 11p over here. It's a positive 11p, so therefore I have to subtract 11p from both sides to make this equal 0. 18 minus 11, that gives me 7p minus 3, because I bring this down and I bring this down, equals, major chance to make a mistake here. This is a negative 45, so I bring this down as a negative 45. You forget that negative and you make a mistake. You've made an error that's going to cause you to get the wrong answer, so you've got to pay attention to that. Make sure you bring it down. All right, so now I'm going to solve. This is a minus 3, so I'm going to add 3 to both sides. 0 out, bring this down, and I have 7p equals a negative and a positive, so therefore I'm going to subtract. The negatives are winning this battle, and we have a negative 42. Multiplying times 7, so I'm going to now divide by 7 to both sides. This cancels, p equals negative 6. All right, looking at number 11. This is where we're pulling in multi-steps here. All right, big thing with this. Remember, this is understood to be a negative 1 right here, so I'm multiplying a negative 1 to everything inside. I'm just going to bring down the 5x, so I have 5x. Negative 1 times x, that's going to give me a negative x. Negative 1 times a negative 18 gives me a positive 18. Equals 6 up. This is a negative 2, so I'm multiplying a negative 2 times x. That's going to give me a negative 2x. A negative 2 times 15, so that's going to give me a negative 30. You got to pay attention to those integer rules. And now we've got to look at each half. So I'm looking at this half. Can I combine any like terms? Yes. I have 2 variable terms that I can combine together. So 5x minus 1x, that's going to give me 4x plus 18. Now I look at this half. Do I have any like terms that I can combine? Yes. The 6 and the negative 30. And notice I still use different symbols to go around because they're different like terms. Equals, so now I'm going to have negative 2x, and this is a positive, this is a negative. The negatives are winning this battle. I'm subtracting, so I end up with a negative 24. Now it looks like the problems we've been doing. So I need to move, I'm going to move the negative 2x over here. So I'm going to add 2x to both sides. It zeroes out, and I have 6x, bring this down, plus 18 equals, remember that's a negative 24. And now we solve. This is a positive 18 or a plus 18, so I'm going to subtract 18 from both sides. This zeroes out, bring this down, and I have 6x equals. These are both negative, so therefore I'm actually adding. They're doing teamwork, so this is going to end up being a negative 42. This is 6 times x, so I'm going to divide by 6 to both sides, and I get that x equals negative 7. Okay. At this time, I'm going to ask that you complete. Okay, so you're going to check complete and check number 12 with Mrs. Wilson. Do not look at answer key. So you're going to check this with me before actually scratch that because I'm not going to be here. So don't worry about that aspect of things. You're just going to complete the rest of this page, and then you're going to complete the classwork homework. So you're going to finish notes and classwork homework, and then the pre-teach videos, and then IXL math. That's the order in which you're going to do this. So you're going to finish the notes, classwork homework, pre-teach videos, and then IXL math. Have a great day.